Hello, and welcome back to Picks and Portraits. Over the past couple of months, we've been looking a lot at 80s Futurism. We had a sleep core dedicated to it. We also recently covered Max Headroom pretty extensively. Today, I'd like to round this out in the spirit of Max Headroom by looking at some examples of Retrofuturism from 80s music videos. Now, these are not videos that were necessarily featured on the Max Headroom show, but they should give us a good idea of what else was going on with 80s Futurism in pop culture. After all, the music video was huge in the 80s. MTV launched in 1981 and greatly influenced youth culture throughout the decade and even beyond. MTV was a channel that ran music videos, songs synced with visuals 24 hours a day. These videos would be introduced to viewers by a VJ, video jockey, similar to a DJ, disc jockey, on the radio. Visual radio is actually a pretty good way of describing early MTV. Pairing music with visuals was nothing new. We've looked before at the Fleischer bouncing ball. Throughout the 1950s and 60s, some promotional films were also made to promote songs, but the music video really didn't come into its own until the 1980s. Because of the popularity of MTV, the medium was pushed and grew. Videos could range from glorified concert performances to elaborate short films complete with narratives. Some of the most iconic media to come out of the 80s were music videos. Our focus here, though, is not going to be on the most popular videos, but instead ones featuring Retrofuturism. Now, this is not going to be exhaustive. Some of the videos may explicitly take place in the future, others may just feature futuristic aesthetics. Let's start with Radio Gaga by Queen from 1984. This video should look familiar. It uses the same theme and even some footage from Fritz Lang's Metropolis, a hugely influential piece of Retrofuturism. We covered its complicated history over on Patreon on Feature Film. It was originally produced in 1927, though this cut is lost. Certain scenes are missing. Some have been found over the years and restored, and the film has been released many different times, different versions, different edits. The year Radio Gaga was released, producer Giorgio Moroder put together a shorter cut with a soundtrack featuring songs by popular musicians of the day, like Pat Benatar, Bonnie Tyler, and even Freddie Mercury, Queen's frontman. Queen does something similar here, syncing footage from the film to Radio Gaga. There is also clips of a wartime family listening to the radio and the band performing and driving this great flying car, which is controlled by a microphone. Great little detail. Music videos don't always follow the song's lyrics, but thematically the audio and visuals here are a great pairing. A major theme in Radio Gaga is that video was, at the time, replacing radio, which was once new, the future, just as Metropolis was, but now both are the past. The narrator laments this and assures radio that it is still hip, still loved. You can also see some Metropolis influence in the video for one of my favorite songs, Billy Idol's Dancing with Myself, directed by Tobe Hooper, who was mostly known for horror movies, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Poltergeist. In Dancing with Myself, Idol navigates a post-apocalyptic city with a kind of expressionist skyline filled with mutants, like in the Omega Man, which we also covered on Feature Film. Another film, or I guess franchise, that inspired a lot of music videos was the Mad Max films, Desolate, Desert Wasteland, following the collapse of society. Here, we are seeing the video for You Got Lucky by Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. We have this great futuristic car, which was also used in the Logan's Run television series. Nothing else really too exciting here. The band basically just explores a rundown building with allusions to the recent past. There are TVs playing, there are older videos. We also see a clip of, I guess, how the world came to this, a scene from Galactica 1980, some kind of alien attack. Michael Jackson is arguably the most well-known musician from the 1980s. He was a fixture on MTV, and his 1982 album Thriller is still the highest-selling album of all time by a pretty wide margin. Before he was the king of pop, though, Michael performed with his brothers as the Jackson 5, later just the Jacksons, which swapped out brother Jermaine for brother Randy. In 1980, the Jacksons released their album Triumph, which gave the single Can You Feel It? This is our, I guess, first look at a prestige video. It is presented like a film, complete with credits, and was produced by Robert Abel and Associates. Fans of our history of computer animation series should recognize Abel and Associates. This agency was responsible for some of the earliest computer-generated effects in film. In 1984, they also produced the great Brilliance commercial for the Canned Food Information Council. The future is canned. Can you feel it? Isn't explicitly futuristic. This is probably better filed under sci-fi, but there are some great aesthetics here. The Jacksons play these sort of gods, I guess, that sprinkle dust onto the world, causing supernatural events. Again, not super futuristic, beyond, I guess, this rainbow bridge here. Wayward brother Jermaine Jackson released When the Rain Begins to Fall with Pia Zadora in 1984. Noticing a theme here, a lot of Futurism released in 1984. Like You Got Lucky, this takes place in a barren wasteland with roaming and feuding clans, another takeoff of Mad Max. Also, in 1984, the Rush album Grace Under Pressure gave us a series of futuristic videos. The Body Electric. This is a future where employees are nothing but numbers. Following a mistake, the employee 1001001 is pursued and eventually caught by guards. Androids in an android bar overheat. Their shock freeze 1001001, and the video ends with him escaping. In terms of innovation, in the android bar, there is this really cool futuristic record player that creates a sort of video orb to play along with the music, which is pretty awesome. This also makes an appearance in the video from The Enemy Within, which takes place in the same world. The following year, Rush also produced the soundtrack to the animated music film The Body Electric, which I would love to look at further on Future Tunes. It looks like there are some interesting designs. Could be fun. On to videos that take place in specific years. I couldn't find many, but a couple do exist. Rick Springfield's Human Touch brings us to the distant year of 2016, seen from 1983. We learn this through an Alexa-like AI known as Sally. Here, Springfield plays the captain of a ship whose crew has been put into suspended animation. There is a lot of frivolous technology, lots of lights and buttons. There is a nuclear attack, and the video ends with Springfield resuming suspended animation, only this time with some company. The last video we are going to be looking at is Robin Gibb's Boys Do Fall in Love. This was released, again, 1984, and looked 200 years into the future, so 2184. This takes place on a sort of Star Trek-like space station, and is a lot cleaner or more stable than what we've seen so far. This future has keypad entry, androids who act as servants, video mirrors, transporting. The costumes here are pretty great as well. I love the sunglasses or the visors. Physical media still exists, CDs, which is a feature I can get behind, and yeah, this manages to establish quite a bit in under 5 minutes. And that is about it for today. Again, this was not meant to be exhaustive. I would love to revisit this topic sometime in the future, if the interest is there. The 90s and 2000s gave us lots of great examples, so there is no shortage of material. Also, I am not an expert. I was barely alive in the 80s, so feel free to mention any videos I may have missed in the comments. Also, I'll post links to everything we covered in the description, so let me know what you think. If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and if you have the means, please consider supporting us on Patreon. We have a bunch of exclusive content over there, like Feature Film, which was mentioned multiple times during this video, looking at how the future has been depicted, or futurist depictions from the past seen in movies. $5 a month gets you access to that and dozens of other videos and series, and keeps these videos coming out regularly. That's patreon.com/pixandportraits. As always, thank you all so much for interest in this channel, and thanks for watching. See you in the future.